everyone, welcome back to Kirsty Colouring Sketch. So this is part 3 of our Colouralong in Anastasia Elly Koldareva Amarantine. So the front cover is just this one. Gorgeous beat this. I've been really enjoying this page. It's just so beautiful. So part 1 we did the skin and part 2 we did the hair. So the hair took me quite a long time. I was hoping to get a few other bits into that part 2, but we didn't end up doing in the end. But we are using the Fabercastell polychromos pencils for the whole of this Colouralong. If this is the first video that you're clicking on, or you're new to the channel, you've only just found me, part 1 and part 2 will be under my playlists. Just click on playlists and Colouralongs and you'll find it. So this is part 3. So in this part we're going to be doing the clothes. I don't know whether it's a dress or a top, we can't tell because we've only got the little chest area, but this little section I'm going to do sort of a muted sort of red, sort of, I don't know if you would call these reddy browns, the sort of not an in your face vibrant red, but they have got red tones in them. So I thought we would do that, and then the dragon I was going to bring more of a red into the dragon, and then if we've got time I do want to get the eyes and lips done in this part as well. So yeah, as always with these YouTube videos, you can slow down the videos or speed the videos up, and you can of course pause the video as well if you feel like you need to pause. So I'm going to get us zoomed in. Zoomy. Hopefully that's zoomed in enough, but not too much. So the 3 pencils that you're going to need for this little clothing is Pompeian Red 191. You're going to need Caput mortuum 169. And India Red 192. So as usual I'm going to start off with my lightest shade, which is Pompeian Red 191, and I'm going to put a really light base of this colour over all of the clothing. So just go ahead and do absolutely everything with a light layer of this. Anything we want to darken up later, we can darken up later. You can hear kiddies in the background, they are on half term, Easter holidays, so you might hear some rowdy children in the background of this video. So I'm even going over the buttons on this one, because the buttons I'm going to do the same colour as well. I'm going to have them so that, you know, when buttons have that sort of material over the top, so they're not metal buttons, they're like a fabric. I'm going to go for that sort of look, if at all possible, on this one. I think a lot of the times what I do with buttons is that I use a gel pen, some sort of gold metallic gel pen over the buttons, and I want to do something a bit different this time, so I am going to do them the same colour as the top this time. So I'm not too fussed about getting this smooth at this moment in time, although I am going to stick some paper just underneath my page just to pad it out a little, because if you're doing this page as well, you'll notice the roughness of that back page there. So I'm just going to pad it out a bit. I hope my kids aren't as loud as what they sound like to me on camera. Got pencils rolling all over my desk. So I love the pages that are like this. They're not very heavily grayscale, but they've got just enough so that you can sort of work out where the shadows are in this clothing. You can see where the little tiny grayscaled little shadowy bits have been put in for you. So once you've given it all a light colour covering of that, you're going to get your darkest colour, which is the Caput mortuum 169, and I'm going to put this over all those little grey scaled areas. So let me pull my blotter sheets a bit more that way. So I'm going in with quite a hard pressure, and then just on your edges you want to soften the edges a little bit, because we're going to bring that other shade of red into it and we want it to blend nicely. So if you just soften around the edges when you go in with your next colour, it's going to blend much nicer. So the same here, going in with a medium to hard pressure on the grayscaled area, then just softening the edges. I like to use the word buffing it out, buffing the edges out. I don't think that's a proper technical term, guys, it's just my own little word. So again, and let's start to soften those edges a little bit. We're going to do the exact same on the buttons as well, when we get to the buttons, as what we're doing here, because they're going to be the same colour. So go in with your hard pressure, and then just soften the edges. Release the hard pressure around the edges. I think fabric is definitely one of those things that you really have to just practice doing. I'm still not great at it. I'm glad that these grayscale areas are in here for me, because if there wasn't, in all honesty, it would just be a guessing game for me. It really would just be a guessing game, because I haven't got the foggiest. That means I haven't got a clue. I've been made aware quite a lot that some of the sayings we say as English people are hard to understand. So then when I just said I haven't got the foggiest, I thought, do people around the world know what that means? I've started questioning things that I'm saying, thinking, does other people know what that means? If it's going light and dark, there's not much I can do at the moment. I do have my lamp on, but the weather outside, it's going from blurring sunshine to the sun being totally hidden by the clouds like that in an instant. So it went from being really bright then to all of a sudden really dingy. So if the light keeps looking like it's going up and down, it is the sun keep coming out and disappearing outside. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it. I noticed it in my part 2 of my Colouralong of the hair, it was doing it. The weather must just be the same here. Just doesn't know whether it's coming or going. I do have my lamp on. My lamp's on here, but it's just, yeah, it's taking over, that weather outside. So we're still doing what we was doing, going in with the hard pressure, still over these areas, softening around the edge. And I'll just continue doing this until obviously we've gone over every bit of the grayscale areas. Don't forget, if you want to slow the video down, there is an option to do that. I'm not sure which side of the screen the button is to press, but you can, I know you can speed up or slow down the video, or just pause it. If I am going too quick, just pause it. If you're not very techie like me, you might find it hard to find the other button that I'm talking about. But it's easy enough to just pause, isn't it? Please, as well, if anybody's colouring along, let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know if you've coloured along, or you're colouring along, or you intend to. Just gonna go in on this button, this third button I think it is. And this last little bit, and then that's half of it done. It does take some time. I think it's around the blending out of the edges that takes the time. I'm just gonna dust off with my dusting brush a little bit. Turn you around a little bit. Hopefully my hand's not in the way. I'm gonna do the same on this side. So if I go a little bit quiet, because we've already explained what we're doing, and we're just concentrating now. Just concentrating. So I think now, obviously, your buttons are on this side. It does look like that's part of a button, but it mustn't be. And these are the holes to the buttons, so you're going to have some, well, it's grayscaled there. We're going to have some shadowing in there. I'm going to go in with a really hard pressure there for that part now. And turn you around a little bit. I'm quite happy with this colour as well. Quite happy with it. It's Really nice colour. It's going to be really dark in there again. I've used quite hard pressure for that one. Very noisy today, my children. But unfortunately I came down with COVID on April Fool's Day. I tested and it was positive. Now I've took a test this morning on the 6th and it's still coming up as positive. So yeah, I've been stuck inside. The law in our country here in England now states that we don't actually have to isolate anymore, but I think if I went outside and people knew that I'd gone out with COVID, I'm pretty sure I would be getting slated. I'm pretty sure someone somewhere wouldn't be happy with me. So yeah, I've just been inside. My partner's fine, he doesn't have it, he's been going to work and then he's been picking up bits of shopping on his dinner break because he works right by the supermarket. So he's been picking up bits of shopping, bringing it home with him after work. So we're fine. The kids are off school as well for Easter term, so I've not had to struggle to wonder how I'm going to pick and drop them off from school or anything. So it's come at an alright time, to be honest, if ever there's an alright time to get COVID. But yeah. Also, would just get that in there because my voice is still a bit croaky. So in the past when I've done clothing like this, I've sort of left that texture in. Can you see how it looks sort of textured? A lot of the time I have left it in so it gives it that fabricy feel. Now I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to do that with this one yet. I'm going to get my next colour in when I've done this and just see how I feel about it. But I think sometimes when you leave the texture in, it does look quite nice. You can sort of get that velvety sort of appearance. So I've just got up here now. It does take longer than you imagine, doesn't it? I'm just turning around now because I don't want... I'm trying to work it out so that my hand's not shadowing what I'm doing, basically, so you can still see. So I'm trying to manoeuvre so that my left-handedness isn't in the way of the camera. I think as well, if you decide that you are going to leave the texture in and you don't want to blend, I think it's even more so important to get that nice blend, softening of the edges. Can hear my son. I hope it's not too distracting for you guys. Hopefully it's not. They're not killing each other yet. I've actually just watched something on the news, a little debate programme, and it was saying, should you let your children work out the differences when they're arguing? So basically, should you leave them to it and not intervene? If I didn't intervene when my kids were arguing, I'd be at A&E. Honest to God. I'd be at A&E with them because they kill each other. Throw things at each other, all sorts. Can you imagine if I didn't intervene? I don't know who these people are who think these are good ideas. Let's not intervene when they're fighting. made me laugh. So hopefully I can get that dragon done after this, but I'm starting to think that I'm just a very slow colourist and I can never get as much done as I want to. I am very slow. I suppose it's a good thing for tutorials though, isn't it? You don't... Hopefully you don't have to slow the video down every 2 seconds because I am, you know, you should be able to keep up with me. So actually, if I didn't have COVID and I could go out, it's actually a nice day today to go and walk to the local duck pond and feed the ducks. It would have been nice. You know, one of them days where it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's not raining either. We've got little hints of sunshine here and there. When it decides it wants to peek out from behind the clouds. So I am just, now I've put in all the shading, dark shading, I'm just going to pull very light covering of this colour towards the centre there where there's not much shading. Just a little hint. Barely touching the paper. And then I'm going to move on to the last section. It's really nice, this colour, but what would you class it as? If you was picking up this colour, Caput mortuum, is it? Yeah. If you was picking up this colour, would you class it as a purple? Would you class it as a red, or would you class it as a brown? Would you say that's more of a brown? I think it definitely looks like some sort of reddy brown, doesn't it? Really lovely shade. My chair is squeaking like nobody's business. I need to get some WD-40 on it. Some oil. So the sun's coming out again now. We get some nice brightness on this page. And it disappeared. Lasted like 2 seconds that then. I'm thinking as well for this page, guys, a nice delicate background. Obviously I want to carry on using the polychromos pencils because I don't know what supplies you guys have at home, and I don't want to start using something that you don't have. Obviously if you've started this Colouralong, you have the polychromos pencils. So I'm thinking when it comes to the background to just get like some lovely pale, some nice lovely pale neutral tones into the background, so that it's nice and easy. Nice and easy but effective. I'm gonna just turn you around when I get to this bit here. And sometimes when you've got such bold colours on your initial illustration, it is nice to have that neutral background, because then you're not taking away from the bold colours. Obviously we've got a lovely bold dress or top here. We've got lovely bold black hair. So I think a nice subtle background will really complement this page. You have to let me know what you're thinking. So that's the last little bit of that colour now. Let's just dust that away. Get you back in frame so you can see the nice texture there now. So that's two of our pencils that we've used, the lightest and the darkest. Now we're going to go in with our middle tone, which is India Red 192. And I'm just going to add touches of this colour. So let me try and zoom you in a bit better. So I'm going to add this colour just around where we've just been with the darkness. So I'm just going to start on top of the colour we've just used and bring it out a little bit. So using a medium pressure on top of where we've been with the Caput mortuum, and then bringing it into a light pressure around the edges. So we're sort of getting more of a more of a red tone from this one, but not too much, not overly, just a little touch of it, so it brings a bit of brightness almost, but it doesn't overpower. Don't want it to overpower on this page. Just getting a little hint. I just find the polychromos work so well on this paper, so well. They blend so nice, so nicely. With this colour as well, I'm going to go up a little bit into this band and sort of blend it in there. Over the button area as well. So with this band I am sort of doing some dark areas and some light areas. So I'm really pressing on hard there, and then I'm gradually bringing it out to a light. And then down here I'll probably do a bit of a dark pressure and then pulling it up into a light pressure. So I've just got a bit of variation going on. See the redness and the richness really coming into this side now. And also the texture, the lovely texture. Side done. And I've just realised as well we've completely missed this, well I have completely missed this bit here, so I'm going to get my Caput mortuum really quickly and just put some of that there and then back in with the India red. Totally forgot about that a little bit. It's always something with me. No, I bet you didn't forget that bit. gone out again. Did you notice that drop in light? Hopefully you're keeping along with this video. I am just going to turn you around so I can get to this bit a bit easier. So this bit here is probably the biggest open space without much shading in it. So I'm going to bring some of this India red into that area in a second. But really lightly, you know, barely touching the page. It's one of them where you're just kind of skimming over it a little bit. You can see how subtly I've brought that in. Last little bit over here now. The little girl's just outside my bedroom door if you hear any funny noises. there we go. I'm going to turn you around, bring you in, zoom you out a little bit, and we'll have a look at that and how that looks. So I think that's looking quite nice. Now you can either leave it like that, or you can give it a little bit of a blend. If you feel like you've got a bit too much white space, or you want to brighten up your highlights, I think what I'm going to do is just brighten up my highlights. So with a white, or with any other sort of other blending pencil you might prefer, you can just very lightly go into them highlights. And that will smooth your highlights out. So now going into this side a little bit. If you prefer to blend the whole thing, that's totally fine. But I'm just going to blend the highlights out. And there we go. How nice and neutral is that? So I've actually had a look at this page. I like to stand back and have a look and see what vibes we're getting. And I've decided I'm not quite sure about that dragon. So I'm going to leave the dragon for this part, and we're going to do the eyes and the lips. So we're going to start with the lips first. So I'm going to bring you in on the lips as close as we can without getting too much of a blur. So, and the colours I'm going to use for the lips are the Pompeian Red 191 and Middle Cadmium Red 217. So I'm going to base with the Pompeian Red first, so go over all the lippage with this. We sort of want it so it's in keeping with a close but a bit more punchy, so that's why I've brought in the Middle Cadmium Red, a bit more of a pigment punch, if that's even a word. It is now, isn't it? So light base of that one, and then with the Middle Cadmium Red 217 we're going to go into all those darker areas on the lip. So all the grayscale that's in there for us, I'm going in with the hard pressure here. Give it a bit of a dust off. Then going back in with the Pompeian Red 191. And there's two areas I'm not going to go over with this colour. I'm not going to go over this little section here, and I'm not going to go over this little tiny bit here. So we've gone over everywhere with that Pompeian Red, was it? Pompeian Red, yeah. Apart from the highlighted areas. Then you might just want to go into the highlighted areas with your white or whatever blender pencil you have to brighten it up a bit. If you want the highlights even brighter than that, you can get yourself any sort of white paint pen, white gel pen, and let me just get this going, this white gel pen, and then you can just add some little sections in yourself, and then it'll give it a bit of a glow. So I'm going to move on to the eyes now, and I probably shouldn't have put that white gel pen down until I've done the eyes because I might fear smudging them here. So the colours we're going to use on the eyes, we're going to give her a nice blue, bright blue eye. We're going to go in with the Sky Blue 146 just to base the eye. I'll try and get you in. I'm hoping that's close enough for you. So we're going to base all the eye with this one. Just a light covering. You can hear my children very loudly. I do apologise, but with it being half term, there's nothing I can do. They're off for 2 weeks, so I couldn't even leave this Colouralong another 2 weeks because it won't get finished. It has to be done. And then with the Phthalo Blue 110, I'm going to go around the edge of the eye with a sort of medium pressure, and then sort of buff that in a little bit as well. Leave this little bit at the bottom and just do the edges. Like that. So you've sort of got your little highlight at the bottom, and again on this side. So you want all the darkness in the shadowed areas, all the darkest blue. Leaving that highlighted bit there. Then back in with the Sky Blue. I'm just going to fill in any space that's left, but still leaving that highlight. We're not going into that highlight. And then we're going to get our white again, white 101, and we're going to go into the highlight with the white. There we go. Then we're going to find our black. So with your black 199, we're going to go into the iris now. So it does look funny when you first put this bit in. I always think it sort of looks almost like a doll's eye when you first do that. It's only when you get your highlights in that it really makes it come to life properly. So I'm going to go around the lash line now. So just the top of the lash line. I've not gone around the bottom yet. And I think with this one, because it's such a delicate, she's got such a delicate facial features, hasn't she? I think sometimes I go bold on the lashes, and sometimes I just go really sort of feathery and gentle and light, so it looks not as dramatic. So I'm going to go for that subtleness this time. So just really lightly going over those lashes, and even putting a few of your own in as well if you want. But being really sort of delicate with it. And again on the bottom ones, barely touching those bottom ones. I find sometimes, and it's the same when you're doing your own makeup, sometimes if you do them too harshly, you end up looking like, you know, spider eyes a little bit. So with the bottom lash line, I am going to get a grey rather than a black, just to fill in a little bit of that. So the grey I'm going to go for is the Cold Grey 234 for this bottom lash line. Just because I don't want the harshness. You don't always want the harshness of black. So just very carefully running it along the edge. I'm also going to use this colour for the corners of the whites of the eye. So just in the corner, very, very lightly, just buff a bit of this colour in. And a bit up there where you get that shadow as well coming down. And on this side. And then I'm going to pick out a pale pinky sort of tone. I'm actually going to go for the beige red. So beige red 132, I'm going to pop a little bit in the corner of this eye. So it's sort of the pink of the eye, and a little bit on the outer side as well. Just a little bit there. And then I'm going to go in with my white for the highlights. So again, using this paint pen that I have. I'm going to put in a little bit there. And a little bit here. Just going to put a little dot down there. And that's the eyes. So I'm going to zoom you out now. Zoom it out and spin you round. Hopefully we get some good light in here so we can see properly. So there we go. So that's the clothes done, the eyes done, the lips done in part 3. I do apologise for the noise, but like I say, this Colouralong will never get done if I don't do it. And they're off for 2 weeks now. So, yeah. I'm sure everyone who's got kids understands, you know, the level of noise there. But there we go. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please do hit the thumbs up. Please drop me a comment down below. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.